Dude, welcome to this. That's the name of the podcast. That's what we're rolling with.
Welcome to this.
Welcome to this.
That's the laziest name.
I don't know. I still don't know what it is. Dude, it's so funny because guys, welcome to this. Welcome back to this.
This is a show. We got a guest.
You know what? You know what it is? It's just like, if it ever catches fire, it's going to be like the coolest part about it is that the name of it is welcome to this.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Joey Hamburger. We got him on the podcast today. He's a New York City comic. He hails from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Joey's one of my best friends in comedy. He's a super funny fucking dude. You can catch him at like Acme Comedy Club back in Minneapolis. You can see him as of now, New York Comedy Club. He just got in, everybody. Come on, baby. He's in there. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
And Greenwich Village Comedy Club and Broadway. So make sure to check him out. Yeah, dude. How you been?
I've been good. I was home. I opened for Jeremiah Watkins at Acme.
How was that? Because you and Jeremiah have like similar styles.
It was good. He's
Yeah.
a really nice dude. It is odd. I was able to do. I've been doing this thing where I have I told you this, where I'm like I'm based. I don't know if I want to ruin the joke, but I just basically pretend we're live streaming the show for a comedy club in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
I've never seen comedy before.
You still doing that?
Yeah, but as a host, I was like, can I do weird? And his audience was like, cool. It was like weird. So I was able to do that. My dog comic thing. I'm doing this, and I can tell this because I'm going to get rid of it. But I was doing a thing because I'm going woof, woof, woof. I'm the dog comic. And when I'd make a bad joke, I took out a doggy bag, like a poop bag, and would pick the joke up off the stage. And then I put it back in, and I'd hand it to a guy in the front row, and I go, that's a bad joke.
So wait, so they go, give it up for Joey Hamburger. And then like, could you do that at like the beginning?
Yeah. I make them have to cheer for me, and it's really fun because like the drunk audiences will like chant Joey, Joey, and then I dance around, and then I just kill all the momentum. I go like, oh no, my penis hurts! Ow, 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 ow.
Dude, that's the best part. That's the best thing about you, because like because comics will come up to you and be like, yo, can you listen to this joke I'm trying out? Like, just hear me out on like this bit. This is what I'm working out. And like most of the time, I'm like, yeah, man, sure. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm not listening to this bullshit. Because at the end of it, it always ends up with like, yeah, man, try it on stage.
Yeah, you hear him tell like a setup and punch, but when I come to ask, my new joke I have to ask if this is funny is if I go around and go, yeah, I got a great dick. It's asymmetrical.
Yeah, but you come up to me and you're like, I've been doing this new bit on stage. It's been working pretty well. And I'm like, I always want to know what it is, because you'll be like, oh, it's so good. I go up on stage and I go, oh, my penis hurts for like a minute. That's me doing it for like a minute straight. What do you think? And I'm like, I love it. I can't wait to see it. It's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, it looks great too with the subtitles on the clips.
Comedian destroys audience with one joke.
Comedian needs medical attention.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. So was Jeremiah like, oh, I want to work with you again? I could see him totally being like, dude, come on the road.
No, but he was cool. He was nice. It was really chill. It was me, him, Mike Early was really cool.
Oh, Mike's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was like a really good weekend. And then I got to do spots throughout there. Hung out with did Jeff Asmussen, Tommy Brennan's show.
Oh, right, yeah.
On New Year's, and that was really fun. That audience was like hammered. They were great. But he sold out Comedy Corner Underground
like 7 shows.
Yeah, 7 shows. It was great.
Crazy. Good for him.
So yeah, that was a cool thing. I did Chloe's shows too at the Corner Bar. It was great.
Chloe Radcliffe.
Yeah,
she's great too. Yeah,
dude, she's the best.
Yeah,
I love her. But yeah, it was good. The wildest thing I wanted to tell you this story because. My friend, who's another director, who I hang out with, he's like, I think I'm like a crazy partier, but he's like an ultimate crazy partier. And so we're hanging out at the bar one night, and all his friends show up, and we're having a good time. It's this great bar. It's just like the vibes are impeccable. But he keeps going like, we need to go to another place because you cannot remember a great night if you stay at one bar the whole time. You have to switch to another bar, and then you will remember the night. You will remember, and everything will be like perfect. If you switch bars, it will become memorable. And I'm like, okay, sure. We'll switch bars. And he goes, I'm getting an Uber right now. And he pulls out his phone. He drops his phone. The SIM card pops out. He grabs the SIM card. He goes, oh, what's this? He puts it in his mouth, and I look him in the eyes, and I go, swallow it. and he swallows his SIM card. He swallows his SIM card, and then I see in his eyes as he swallows the SIM card, he realizes what he's just done, and he sticks his fingers in his throat, throws up on the floor, and throws up like all over this bar. SIM card comes out. He picks it up. I take it from him. I wipe it off on my shirt. I hand it back to him. He puts it in his phone, and I go, FaceTime me, and we'll see if it works. And he FaceTimes me in the bar, and we're just going, yeah, it works. The fucking thing still worked after going down his esophagus. And it was so funny because he did this all in a bar, and literally no one kicked us out. This is like a Minneapolis bar. Like, no one batted an eye. It was just me and him doing this. No bartender kicked us out. We hung out for like 10 more minutes. They're like, okay, on to the next bar. Literally leaving just fucking beer throw up all over the floor. It was wild.
And then you go to the next bar, you black out, and then you wake up the next morning, you're like, what happened last night?
Oh, dude, no, I went to the next bar. I'm going to tell this story, but I just won't post it. When I go to the next, so I'm supposed to give my mom and sister a ride to the airport that night because they're leaving town. And I'm staying at my parents' house, and I tell them I'll give them a ride at like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I go to the next bar, and I'm like, oh, shit, there's no way I'm driving a car in like 2 hours to give them a ride. So I get home, and I get home like about the time they have to leave. I wake them up. I order them an Uber XL. Great son. What a great son. I get him an XL. I order him an Uber XL. It's going to be there. They, as right as they get their bags, they're going. But my sister, she's kind of mean. She's kind of crazy, likes to dig into me. And so she's like, why are you giving us a ride? You should give us a ride. You should drive us.
I hate that. I hate that. I just paid $80.
I got you an Uber XL. Uber XL rolls up right as their thing, and she's yelling at me. And it's like right as they're out the door, I don't know, this probably won't register, but like, you know how like with your siblings, you know how like the exact fucking thing, you know the exact thing to like say
to get them,
and I say this. I go. She's like got a pretty big job, and she's very into her career, and she's very much like she loves like her work. She lives in London, has a big job, very into her career. As she goes, I go, have fun ordering coffee for your bosses. Have fun ordering lunches, personal assistant. Have a good time. Bye bye. I shut the door and I lock on her.
You just hear her in the window like, no.
Yeah.
No!
But I knew. I feel bad. I apologize to my mom because I was like, I know I hit her so deep that probably that car ride and that plane ride, she probably went nonstop, just like fucking yelling at my mom. Because I got on her way out, she's like, "You're a fucking loser. Give us a ride." I'm like, so, I don't know.
Gotta love holidays with the family.
Yeah, I love my family. My family, they're funny. They're real funny. But my sister's like the meanest person I know, but it's funny. It's like she's like I'm just like ruthlessly mean, but it makes me laugh.
My sister will kill you.
Yeah.
Like she's my best friend, but like you double cross her, she will cut.
Oh yeah, she'll fuck you
face
up.
Up.
Yeah. My sister when I was a kid beat me with a banana putter. So like
what?
It's a putter, but it was from Donkey Kong. It was like a Donkey Kong putter, so it was like a putter, but it was a banana at the end. When I was a kid. So it's really funny because it sounds funny, but in reality, she beat the shit out of me with a golf club.
Yeah. Like Tiger Woods' wife.
Yeah, but it was a banana. It's a banana putter. And we had it in our living room, and she would just beat the shit out of me with it.
Jesus Christ. Just getting walloped.
Just fucked up. Yeah, she was a D1 soccer player.
You're like, and that's why I'm a kinky boy.
Yeah. That's from step bump. Oh, dude, that was another thing too. Is I was standing in public in this fucking. I was outside a bar the night before I went home, and this girl was just being like kind of really rude and mean to me, and so I didn't know what to do. So I was just like, "Hey, spit in my mouth." And she got really weirded out. Like, but she was just like, she's kind of like making fun of me outside this bar, and I was just like, "What was going on?" So I was like, "Spit in my mouth."
Yeah, it's the best. We just diffuse the situation by just throwing them off by saying something absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. We used to do that on like ski lifts, like when we're like behind like chicks, like in like the ski line, like getting on like the gondola. We just like look at like girls and just like tell them like what we think they look like. I remember looking at a girl and being like, "You probably drive like a nice Honda Odyssey, don't you?" And she's like, "The fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "Where do you work? IKEA? You at the Cinnabon?" She's like, "Get away from me," you know what I mean? Yeah. Damn, that's funny, dude.
Yeah, it was good. It was good holiday.
Yeah, nice.
It literally just sounds like I went back.
Yeah, just fought your family.
Fought my family.
Fought your family, told the girl to spit in your mouth.
Fought strangers on the street. Caused chaos.
Picked up jokes in a doggy bag, gave them to audience members. Yeah, great holiday.
Yeah, it's really funny when I try to explain to people I'm a normal guy.
It's like your set, I don't want to spoil your set, but like you go on stage, you go, "I'm a cool guy. I'm a cool guy."
Normal guy.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. That's cool. It's going to be back in the city then.
Oh, dude, getting back to New York is fucking best.
Yeah.
It's best. Yeah. I been here a year now, and literally just like now getting back, it's like, oh, I think that's it. I think it's the funniest thing is like, I never really thought about living anywhere else because I just stayed forever in Minneapolis for like the longest time.
You never like went abroad, like study abroad?
I studied abroad in London, and then I lived in Maine, like in Bar Harbor, Maine, for like a summer to act at a theater out there.
Yeah.
And then, but then I just never thought about leaving. I was like, oh, I'll live here forever. But now after being here for like a year, it's like I can't imagine living anywhere else.
Yeah.
This place.
Well, I think that's how most New Yorkers feel. Like any New Yorker I meet, like they'll be like, oh, I've never been out of the country, and I'm like, well, why not? And then their excuse is always like, well, I live in New York. Like, why would I need to go anywhere else?
I've been to China.
I've been everywhere. I've been to all 5 boroughs, which are all 5 different continents, or whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
All 5.
All 5 continents. I'm like, there's 7.
Yeah. We got an ice factory. That's like Antarctica.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Would you recommend like studying abroad to like people, or would you think it was like a waste of time? You could have just traveled on your own.
Oh, I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was a really good. I would recommend though. I went to London, which was cool. Like, it was fun to be around there, but like, London's just like cleaner New York
For sure. Yeah.
with an accent. And goofy cabs.
Yeah.
But like, it's just another metropolitan city. I think if I were to do it over again, I would go someplace a little more exotic.
Yeah.
But I did really love it. But I was just like, it was interesting because in college, I was just kind of getting into stand-up comedy. And so I was there, like I just went to stand-up shows, did open mics, and then like went to bars. I made like friends there who like drugs. So I just go hang out and do drugs with these guys. It was nice, but it was really goofy. I feel like study abroad is just a really goofy experience because like the whole thing is almost like a prep for getting yourself to maybe move or something like that. But I feel like for other places, like if you go, like London felt like that, where it's like it felt more like, oh, we're just kind of like pretending we live here kind of feeling and stuff. Like, because like the classes were like the easiest fucking classes I've ever taken in my life.
Well, that's what they say. They say that your teachers are basically on vacation too, so they don't give a fuck.
They don't care at all. Yeah, my professor who was there was this guy who was like, he was an economics professor, one of my favorite professors. He was like the coolest dude. But even while we were over there, the biggest thing I learned over there, sorry, this is totally tangential. It has nothing to do with travel. But the biggest thing I learned, part of that thing, which maybe put a huge perspective on like living, was just how unsustainable death is. Like just like how our death practice. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but like how. No, I think we talked about this on the last podcast. But basically, like how when people die, like the way we bury people and stuff is like extremely unsustainable.
Okay, first off, we've never talked about that.
We've never talked about that.
Well, no, I don't think I've ever like had a serious conversation with you. I was like, it's unsustainable death. Actually, the way we bury people needs to change.
It has to change. Yeah. So we pump people full of formaldehyde, bury them in the ground, so then they dissolve, and all that formaldehyde gets in the groundwater, and like formaldehyde will kill you if you drink it. So it gets in the groundwater, kills off everything, and then we cut down trees, we make caskets out of wood, bury that in the ground. It's just like it's the silliest thing we do. But you can bury yourself in a box of mushrooms.
Actually?
Yeah.
And
the mushrooms
and the fungi
the fungi will eat you and make you soil. So you can do that, or you can like be resumated, which is like basically like freeze you and you kind of crack that into ashes.
This is how I know that the professors on study abroad don't give a fuck, because you learn that in economics class.
But it was like economics of like it was cool. It was good.
Yeah. He's like, welcome to economics class. Did you guys know if you bury yourself in a box with mushrooms, the mushroom's gonna eat you alive? Anyway, Dow Jones is down 20%. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. He was good, dude. He let me get away with all. He would always come and talk to me. He's like, you know how I feel about you, Joey? Because I would always get in trouble because I'd always go out with these dudes and do drugs all the time.
Did they even go to the school, or were they just random like London guys?
No, I just met dudes. I went to a rave and met these people, and like because I always I've always been a drug addict, so I was always looking for like the dudes who could hang.
Yeah.
And but I went to a rave, met these friends over there, and I would just go hang out on the weekends. I just go over to their house and just hang out with them for the whole weekend. We'd go to concerts, and they took me to their hometown called Essex.
Oh, yeah. My family's from Essex.
Oh, no way.
Harlow. Yeah. Anyway,
Nice, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, it's like the Jersey Shore of like.
Yeah, that's what they talk
England.
about. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to one of their like family's house and we hung out one night, and then I went to like their soccer game the next day. They were just cool dudes. But what was it? But I remember the professor one time. He was just like, you just understand it. He's like, you you just get it. And I'm like, you're telling like a 20-year-old drug addict that like basically like a sentence like that, like you just get it, basically says like everything you're doing is fine.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
He's like, if I were a little younger, I'd be out there with you.
Yeah. The funniest is I met this dude across the street from where we were staying. And he was like, I met him like on like the second day. This dude wasn't very cool. He had some crazy fucking stories though. He was the night of the royal wedding. He worked at a bar that got robbed at gunpoint, and he had like a gun at his head. He told me this entire story. It was a crazy story, but we would just hang. I met him in the first time, and I was looking for weed, and so he could like find me weed, but he was just ripping me off. He would like sell me like. It was just totally bunk prices and like giving me like literally no weed.
And that's
stuff.
why he got a gun pulled out on him.
Yeah. It was coming from him and stuff. But he was just like a weird guy.
This guy was just a terrible businessman all around. He was pissing people off. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No. But yeah, you told a wild story. But he sucked. But then I met these other people I could go hang out at raves and do Molly and do the weed shit.
Could you imagine getting a gun pulled out on you the night before the royal wedding? You're like, oh, come on. Come on. No.
Come on. Yeah, this is a real bugger. But also gun in London is funny. But did I ever tell you the story of the gun? I was in Chicago. And I had a gun pulled on me, like I was in the middle of guns pulled. Have I told you this?
No.
Oh, I was in Chicago walking. I was gonna go to this store, and I was coming around, and I saw this like line out this store, and there's all these people like waiting in line. I'm like, oh, what are they waiting in line for? And it was called Montclair. They sell like giant puffy jacks.
For sure, yeah.
And I'm like, is this but I didn't know what it was. So I was like, what is this? Is this like a store? Is this like a special event? As I'm trying to figure out, all of a sudden these kids who are like standing next to me, they like startly jump, and I freak. I'm like, why are they jumping? And I look, and this guy in the line is pulling a gun out of his waistband, and the two kids, when I look at the two kids who just kind of went like that, they both had guns out, and I'm standing next to them, and I go, holy shit. And so I take off running, but the two kids who have their guns out, they take off running too, and we run the same direction. So I start running with these two kids and their guns, and we're running together, and I was basically just waiting for this guy who in the line to like shoot, and like and then I book around the corner, and I like get around the corner, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like breathing heavy, and I'm just like my everything, like all my energy is like fucking through the roof, and I'm taking it in, and I'm just like sitting there, and all of a sudden I start laughing, and I realize, because this was like in the middle of COVID, it was the most fun I fucking had in like months. It was so fun. Like
it was electric.
It was electric. Like I was just I felt so good.
The danger aspect.
Yeah, and I think I was microdosing a little bit too, so I was like a little bit high. But the funny thing was, is like for a second I questioned it, because I was like, did you just freak out? Did you see something like it was a phone? Like did you really see what you saw? But then the cops swarmed the street. They shut down the street. Like, everything went crazy, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you definitely saw. I called my friend, though. I was like, dude, it was so much fun. I didn't realize how fun that would be.
He's like, now go back and get my Montclair jacket, you asshole. That's a signature drop.
Yeah, it was so fun. Yeah,
dude, I missed a shooting at a bar last year. Yeah. During the holiday season, I went back home to Fort Lauderdale, and like we were out for the Patty the Batty fight.
Yeah.
And like, the fight doesn't happen till like midnight or whatever. And
wait, is that the Patty the Bat?
He's a UFC fighter.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. The fight.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he was like fighting somebody or whatever.
I thought this was the way you said it. Like, you know how it doesn't have to be. It sounded like a yearly tradition where you guys have this like local drunk named
and watch Patty the Batty, the town drunk Patty the Batty. Here he is. He's 31-0, the Fort Lauderdale champion.
It's a very Florida man thing. we had this drunk. We just let loose on a guy every year. It doesn't start till midnight, so yeah.
Don't call me on December 28th. I'm watching Patty the Batty like I do every year. Yeah. No, but we were watching the fights, whatever, and I was like, for some reason, like I just had to shit really bad, and I was like, fuck, like the fight's about to start. Like, let me go take a shit, and I'll come right back out. So I go to the bathroom, and then I'm looking at, it's one of those bathrooms where it's just a urinal and a toilet, and I was like, fuck, man, am I really gonna poop at the fucking bar right now? And I was like, all right, like, let me just take a piss, and then let's see how I feel afterwards, see if I could squeeze out like a fart or something, and then just like walk out. So I take a piss, whatever. I'm in the bathroom, like debating. I'm like, for 5 minutes, I'm like, shit, I don't want to shit. You know what I mean?
You don't want to shit at a bar.
I don't want to shit at a bar.
I'm a guy.
I'm going to have sticky cheeks with a Patty the Batty fight. Not me. So I come outside. I decide not to shit. And then I leave the bathroom. And then when I come out, the fight is on and the bar is empty. Just cleared out. And I'm like, I'm hammered. And I'm like,
What? How long was I in there?
I was like, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? It was literally like if you told me like, oh, everybody was abducted by aliens, I'd have been like, yeah, I believe you. It was like that moment in like Home Alone where Kevin McAllister wakes up, he goes, I made my family disappear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like
yeah.
that. It was like really weird. I come back out and I'm walking around and my buddy who runs the bar, he's the manager there. His name's Mitchell. We've known him since like high school. He sees me. He goes, Brand, come on, we got to go. I go, what happened? He goes, some guy pulled out a gun. We got to go. I go, what? He runs me outside. Everybody from the bar is just like out on like the curb across the street. My friends are like standing among like everybody. They see me. They go, he's alive. Everybody starts freaking out. We're like, yeah, he's alive. I'm like, what the fuck did I miss? My buddy goes, dude, you don't understand. Like some guy pulled out a gun and shot some guy in the ass. I go, what?
No.
They go, dude, it was weird. Like, my buddies were like, they heard like an altercation like happening over by like the outdoor area near the DJ booth, and they were like, oh, let's go see what's up. Like maybe we gotta like help some guy out so he doesn't get jumped.
Yeah.
So they walk over there, and some guy pulls out a gun, and one of my buddies sees it. He goes, oh my God, I think that's a gun. And then the guy shot him in the ass, and then
Crazy.
my buddy's like, holy shit, that is a gun. And the whole bar just fucking fled out of the scene, including the guy with the gun. He like ran off.
That's crazy.
And yeah, when I came out, they were all like, he's alive, whatever. And then right behind me, the ambulance was like carrying the guy who got shot. And the guy who got shot in the ass was like, he was alive.
Everyone's cheering for you.
Everyone's
though.
cheering. They're like,
I'll never shit again. He can't shit ever again.
somebody get my ass cheeked. Jesus. No, he was like really cool about it. He was like, 954 Broward County, baby. We lit. We stay lit. And everybody was like, woo. What's crazy about it was that we were like, fuck, dude. Like, do I have to call my mom right now and just say, like, hey, I'm fine? Like, because this is going to be all over the news.
Yeah.
No press whatsoever.
Really,
no
none,
press. None. Zero press at all. I was kind of like, we were going, it was like 2 a.m. at this point. So I was like, oh, like, we gotta like we can't just go home. Like it was like what you said, you feel like amplified. You're like, oh my God, this just woke me up. We went to like another bar, we're telling the whole bar about it. We're like, you should have been there. It was crazy. Like this guy pulled out a gun, shot somebody in the ass. Everybody's like, Brand, where were you? And I'm like, I was in the bathroom the whole time, missed the whole thing. Missed the whole goddamn thing.
Dude, that's crazy because that's so Florida though. They're like no press. Like
no press.
No, we're not covering this.
Dude, because the Parkland shooting happened like down the road from my house. I used to play hockey across the street from that school, Stoneman Douglas. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So it was like you know, it's a shooting happens. You're like, oh, this is another shooting in South Florida. Like it's crazy, you know. Wow. So then it was so funny. So I headlined that bar the night before I left to come back to New York. I headlined it on January 5th, and that was the first time I've been back at that bar since that shooting.
Oh, hilarious!
So I opened the show. I did an hour, but I opened the show to like a room full of like 30 people. And they didn't know who the fuck I was, whatever. But my buddy Mitchell, he's still the manager at the bar. And I go, last time I was here for a shooting. Let me tell you, if you would have told me a year ago that I'd be back here a year later headlining a show here, I would have said, I hope they have metal detectors. And everybody was just like, boo. Yeah. No one wanted me to make fun of it. But I was like, you don't understand. Like, I don't know. I thought that was pretty fucking crazy, but nobody else seemed to think so. Like the shooting made zero press. It was like I had to do the press for the shooting. Like I was telling people after, I was just hyping it up. I was like, it was the craziest fucking thing ever. It was bigger than Columbine. And everybody was like, God damn it. And I was like, it's going to be a long show. That's like 2 minutes into like this whole set. I'm like, we're going to have a good time.
That's wild.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I've never been in like the crossfire of like a weapon being pulled out.
Yeah. It's like I fucking don't want that at all.
Yeah.
I really like to not get shot.
Yeah.
Be sweet.
That's always like my thought on like a train, like late at night when I'm taking like a subway out here. I'm always like, there's always like that one guy who walks on, and I'm like, wow, thank God you showed up. God damn it. Now I got to fucking worry about my life for the next 3 stops.
Yeah. Hey, man, hope you're having a good day. Hope you're doing well. Yeah.
That is the one thing you don't have to worry about when you do travel abroad is like nobody really has guns abroad.
I think they got guns. I think it's a very, very specifically American thing.
It's very specifically American thing. Yeah.
Worry about getting shot.
But like in London, it's more so about stabbings.
Yeah, there's a lot of stabbings.
A lot of stabbings.
Yeah. which is also terrible.
Yeah. But isn't it crazy that we have so many gun problems here? It's like the stabbings, like you're like, oh, just stabbings?
Oh, yeah.
Come on. It's not that bad.
Yeah, you can punch a stabber.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. That's wild. Dude, that's my aunt, like I got like light mugged one time. Like a guy like stopped me on the street. Oh yeah, we're trying to switch to the abroad stuff, but this is like a half story. I'll tell this.
Totally, yeah.
But I got like a guy tried to ask. He was like stopped me on the street. He's like, "Hey, give me your phone, your money," and I was like, "No."
You just said no.
I was like, no,
thank you.
And he's like, I got friends coming. And I'm like, cool, dude.
Yeah.
And he kept trying to like stop me. And I'm like, no, leave me alone. And I walked away and just got away from the guy. And I was telling my uncle about this, and I was like, oh yeah. My uncle, this is the type of guy my uncle is. He his whole thing he would do like when he was younger is he's a pretty big dude. He would go to like bars in like the 80s and wear like a pink shirt, so that guys would call him gay or something like that, and so he could fight them. Like, he'd just go to like bars, wear a pink shirt, wait for somebody to like say something, and then like fight these guys. And that was like all he would do.
He just wanted to be.
He loves fighting. He loves to fucking fight. Like, it's just like like we were at a restaurant one time, and he kind of bumped a guy. And then when he kind of got pissed off about it, he was sitting down at the booth with it, and every time the guy would look over, he would be like, "This fucking guy's looking at me," and we're all like, "Yeah, because you're looking at him. Stop fucking looking at me." Hey, of course you're looking at him. He loves to fight. But anyway, I told him about the mugging, and he was like, "Oh no, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You are not leaving here without one of my knives." And he takes me. He's got like all these knives, and he like, pick one out. He's like, pick one out, and I'm like, what? Okay, fine. And I pick out this giant knife, and I take it. And so I'm like, oh, cool, I have a knife now. And so for like a couple months, because I walked everywhere in Minneapolis. I could walk, like, I'd love to walk. I walk, even in the cold months, I just walk everywhere. And I walk around with this knife. And then one time it hit me. I was like, oh shit, if I ever I'm like, okay, I was thinking about like the chances of getting mugged. If someone mugs me, I'll pull out a knife and like fend them off. And then it hit me. I was like, wait, if I get mugged and I pull out a knife, I'm going to get fucking stabbed.
Yeah, they're going to disarm you.
They're going to take the knife away from me and stab me. And I think my uncle wants me to get stabbed, but it's really funny because like for like months after that, every time I would hang out, like go to the family thing, he'd be like, hey, Joe, you use that knife yet? Like, no, I didn't fucking stab anybody.
He's like, come here. Let me just introduce you to this pink shirt.
Yeah. Put this on. Carry the knife with you. Anyone calls you, you slip their throat. Psycho.
Joe, that tells me you're ready for the pink shirt.
Like, this is what being a man is.
I've been waiting for this day, son.
You know what I also like to do? I don't even wear the pink shirt. I just suck a dick. Someone calls me gay. I wail on him. I am a man.
What's his name? Uncle what?
Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike. Just a nice uncle name.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
Uncle Patty the Batty. Uncle Mike the Batty.
Yeah, dude, he did rules. Apparently at the so there used to be this like oh god, I love family stories, but there's this old stadium that it was the Met State. I can't. Yeah, it was before they had the Metrodome in Minneapolis. They had a stadium out by the Mall of America. It was where the Vikings used to play.
Right.
It's an old stadium. They had big concerts there, and they had like a going away concert on the last night of the stadium. And he was there with my aunt and uncle. And it was the last night I say, and because it was the last night, basically like a riot broke out at the end of the night, where like people were like fights were breaking out. It just kind of turned into a riot, and it kind of got like scary. And my aunt and uncle were kind of like nervous about getting out. And he's like, I got you. And he ripped a bench out of the ground and just started swinging it at people. Like clear people swinging around this bench at the stadium.
Get back.
Like it's like a zombie apocalypse, just like swinging this thing and like cleared the way. He's a big dude. He's still like massive.
He's like, swinging a bench. People are like, nice pink shirt. He was like, that tears it, throwing a bunch of people just over his head.
I am not gay.
Is this Mike Hamburger? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Yeah, we're dogs.
The hamburgers, man. You guys are just.
He's the coolest. He was a firefighter for years, and it's really funny. Anytime I meet a firefighter or a cop, and they'll hear me like, they're Joey Hamburger, like, is your Uncle Mike? And I go, yeah. And they go, that guy's a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
That guy's like badass. They always like talk about like him just being like, because I think he's just a badass dude. He's goofy.
Have you ever traveled with him? Like any family vacations?
No.
Were you guys big family vacation people?
Yeah, my family was. My family traveled a lot. Yeah. We were big family vacation. Like my immediate family. But the Hamburger side, I feel like is a little bit of trouble. It's like my cousin, she's in China now, lives in China.
Yeah.
But yeah, my family would travel a lot. I like started traveling when I was really young. Like we'd go to, I think we were really lucky. My parents took us to Europe when I was like 11 or 12. It was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
Fun, yeah.
Where was the first place you went?
First place was London, and then which is, I mean, I think that makes total sense why my sister lives there now. But then we went to Amsterdam. It was funny going to Amsterdam as like a kid and stuff because it was like the first time.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, it's the first time I kind of got the concept of like drugs and stuff, which is so funny for me because like I was a kid. Like I remember like my dad, like we were walking around. And there's this high people in my life. Like yeah, they're in there smoking pot, and it's so funny for me because I like the first time I saw drugs, I was like, yeah, I want to do that forever.
Yeah.
Like I want that like all the time.
Yeah. And they're like, just wait a few years. Wait a few years.
I remember just like just you walk around smelling and stuff. But the
Did you go through the red light district at that age?
Yeah.
Really? So you're seeing prostitutes in the window at like 11?
Yeah.
Really?
We walked through it, and then
were you like, drugs are for me, but these hookers would never?
Well, I was wearing a pink shirt. So.
Yeah. Uncle Mike would kill me if I hooked up with one of these hookers.
No, yeah, I remember the red light district. Even too, I remember as a kid being like a little bit like, this is strange. And then going back to, I've gone to Amsterdam a couple times.
Same here.
Yeah, Amsterdam rules, dude. That's a great city. This is a fun Amsterdam story. I went back there when I was 20 with my friend Mike. We did a little trip out there and. Because that was like, it was a bit, oh, dude, it was the craziest. Actually, this is a great story. Fuck. Okay, so all tangential. We have a friend. We had a friend in high school. He's a good friend, also named Mike. This is the Mike podcast now. This guy named Mike.
Welcome to Mike.
Yeah, dude, Mike, this kid in high school, senior year of high school, he disappeared. And everyone was looking for him. They called me because me and him like to smoke pot. And they called me and they're like, we haven't seen him in like 2 days. Well, he went to the mall and was like hiding out in the mall for like 2 days.
Mall of America.
No, like some like mall in the suburbs. And we have a ton of malls in Minnesota. But he was hanging out in the mall in the suburbs. And then in college, we went to the same college and he actually roomed across from me.
What college is this?
St. John's University.
Okay.
And we'd smoke pot in his dorm room. Like he smoked pot, but he lived across the hall from me. Fall semester, his dad shows up with the local police and they're searching his room. They come in our room. They're looking around. They're asking questions. He disappeared. They haven't seen it, and no one knows where he is. Week later, they find him in California. He disappeared to California.
How'd he get there?
He sold his shit, got a bus ticket, took it out to California.
From Minnesota?
Took like a Greyhound. That summer, me and my buddy were going to go do this Europe trip, and right before we left, we heard Mike disappeared again. He took off, left. No one knows where he is. They think he went to Europe. So when we get to Europe, we're into Europe, and we get to Amsterdam, and right when we get off the train, I'm like, oh, we're going to Amsterdam. We're going to go smoke weed. I'm like, oh, it's all the drugs. I'm like, oh, if Mike's in Europe, he's in fucking Amsterdam.
This is where he is.
This is 100% where he is. And so one day we're hanging out, and we walk around the corner. And we see this guy playing guitar for money on the street, and we look over and it's fucking Mike. And we're like, oh my God. We see him and we freak out. We all freak out. We hang out with him for a couple days. We hang out for a couple of days though, but like he's like real homeless. Like he's he's been there for months. There's no money left. He's been like totally doing the busking thing, sleeping on the street. And stuff like, and we just kind of like we take him in for like 2 days while we're there before like take off. But it was really funny. We just hung out with all these, like all the people he'd been like kind of living with, and we'd just go smoke weed and like hang out. And then, but like at the end of it, we were like, yeah, dude, you should get yourself home.
Yeah, you should get back inside.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy.
What?
Got home, joined the military.
Really?
Yeah, military guy.
Now he's fighting for our country.
Nice fight for no, this is years ago. I think he just did military stuff.
Singing "Hey There, Delilah" in the Amsterdam streets wasn't paying the bills, huh?
yeah.
You get off the train, you're like, oh, I wonder if Mike's in Amsterdam. This is probably the place he'd be. You look to your left, he's like, "Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in your fat pussy? I'm 1,000 miles away." You're just like, Mike, get inside.
Get inside, yeah. He was so smelly.
What was the first thing you did in Amsterdam with him, like when you found him? Like, was he excited to see you? Or was he like, oh, fuck?
Dude, this is just stuff. I mean, we got to Amsterdam, we were like kids, so it's like, because you're there and like, we're in 20, it was like kid shit. Like the whole thing was about smoking pot. So the first thing we did was we went and we got a joint. And like, I think we went to the museum, walked around, get food. I think we bought him some food. But then the goofiest was that we had a funny experience. So you go into Amsterdam, like as a kid, you think like, oh, I smoke pot, and then you go to Amsterdam and you're like, oh, I can smoke pot. So we get there and you're like, what's your craziest weed? Like, it's the craziest weed. Like, we're gonna roll a joint of that. We roll a whole joint. Smoke the whole joint. We smoked the whole joint, and just get insanely high. It was incredible. And we went to like a restaurant. We needed to get some food, and we went to like a tapas restaurant. And I can barely like function, so I don't really know what to order, and so I order like a chicken breast. I'm like, I have like a chicken breast. And it was it's like we go inside, and inside it's like this cool hip restaurant. It's fun, all these people around, but it's just too many people for us. So they're like, we'll sit outside, and they look at us crazy because it's like kind of sprinkling rain outside, but we're like, we can't be around these people, so we're like, we'll sit outside. So we're sitting outside in like in the sprinkling rain, like two kids just all fucking
eating a fucking chicken.
I get a chicken breast, and I'm eating the chicken breast, and so when you eat meat in my family, a big thing I wrote always says is, because my grandpa used to say this, you go, watch out for bones. You guys go, watch out for bones. And so every time you're eating meat, you're like, watch out for bones. And as I'm eating this chicken breast, I look down and I see that it's not a boneless chicken breast. It's like a bone chicken breast. And I start seeing all the bones, and immediately hear, watch out for bones, watch out for bones. And I become convinced that I have a chicken bone, because I was devouring it because I was like so high, and I become convinced that I ate a chicken bone, and it's like stuck in my throat. Yeah. And so I become like totally fucking convinced, and I'm like, guys, we have to I've swallowed a chicken bone, and they're like, no, you're fine, you wouldn't be able to talk about it. No, guys, I'm like convinced. I've swallowed. I know. I can feel it in my throat. I've swallowed a chicken bone, and they're like, you're fine. I'm like, we have to leave. I have a chicken bone stuck in my throat. And I just keep going, watch out for bones, watch out for bones. And then the guy comes to pay. They don't take card. So I have to run to an ATM, and I'm like shaking. I throw down a bunch of cash on the table. We leave, and like for 4 hours, I'm like, I got a chicken bone stuck in my throat. And they're like, you do not have a chicken bone stuck in your throat. And they're like, if you think you have a chicken bone stuck in your throat, we're going to the hospital right now. And I'm like, I'm not going to go to the hospital. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to fucking be the guy who gets too high and goes to the hospital in Amsterdam. But I didn't have a chicken bone in my throat. I just needed some water.
Story.
Yeah.
Mike was still homeless, and I did not have a chicken bone in my throat.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. My first time in Amsterdam, I didn't know what to expect. We had a buddy named Kevin who was living in Breda, which is like outside, like maybe a couple hours outside Amsterdam. He was going to college out there. He was living out there for a couple of years, and we hit him up when we were going, because there was like 5 of us going, and we were like, oh, if there's anybody who knows about this place, it's Kevin. Kevin was the kind of guy where like, he was just he was in with everybody, but he was like also like always getting into trouble. And then even when we were getting into trouble, we would just pin it on Kevin. Like, there was like an old story back in the day. We were kids. We were at like this park, whatever, and we were just fucking around like with our hockey sticks, like playing hockey in like this unauthorized like area. It was like a soccer rink that it was a roller hockey rink that turned into like a soccer rink.
Yeah.
And we were just like puck handling on there. Park ranger comes by. He's like, you can't be doing that. I'm going to write you guys a ticket. What's your name? And then my buddy looks at him and he goes, I'm Kevin Gums. And then the guy goes, okay, nice. And then Kevin like starts riding his bike, like coincidentally, like right behind like the park ranger. And the park ranger like looks back, because we're all like looking at him. We're like, oh, no way. And then Kevin looks at the park ranger. He goes, if those guys tell you that their name is Kevin Gums, don't fucking listen to him. And the guy was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm Kevin Gums. But he was that kind of guy. And like when we went to Amsterdam, we were like, oh, we got to hit up Kevin because he's a fucking wildcat. So like we hit him up. He meets us right at our hostel. We stayed at St. Christopher's Inn, which is like right outside the red light district. He met us there as soon as we got into the town. And when we got there, dropped off all of our shit. We went to the this American sports bar. It's like right across the street from like where the St. Christopher's is, and we were kind of just chilling there. And there was like this like red candle that was or white candle that was like sitting in like the middle of like the table, and we're all kind of just like going over like our itinerary. We're like, oh, we need like plans or whatever, like, you know, like what are we gonna do? We have like 2 days, like whatever. And then Kevin just looks at us. He goes, guys, you need to calm down. Okay, this place, anything goes. Let's just take it day by day. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna do everything. And he goes, "Welcome to Amsterdam." And then he takes like the white candle, he flips it over, it turns red, and then all of a sudden, like these shot girls come out and just start pouring shots like in our mouths.
Oh, wow.
It was the most like magical experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that night, he's like, "Come on, like we're gonna go out in the red light district. We're gonna have a good time." He's like, "I know a lot of prostitutes. Like it's gonna be great." Like, dude,
I know a lot of prostitutes.
Dude, and like going into it,
what a wild
dude, he knew them. Like he would go knock.
Yeah, I know a lot of prostitutes.
Dude, he would like go like knock on. I'll never forget this. He would go knock on windows and like side note, like before we got there, like we were all like talking about it, like who's gonna hook up with a prostitute? And, like we're all like, nah, like probably not. You know what I mean? Like that's cool, but like nah. And then we're walking down the red light district, like like we turn our heads and like there's one in the window, and I'm like, that's what they look like. I'm fucked. Like I drink like that's love of my life in there. I gotta get her out of there. You know what I mean? And like sure enough, at like 2 a.m, Kevin's like, "Come on, I'll introduce you to Melania," or whatever. We walk to like, because they're all from like Ukraine or whatever, and like goes into like one of the windows, and then she sees him and goes, "What do you want, Kevin?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know prostitutes. Yeah. He spends a lot of money on prostitutes.
She's like, "What do you want, Kevin?" And he's like, "No, I don't want anything with you. My friends and my buddies are in town from Florida. Like they're here visiting. Like, how much to show them a good time?" And she's like, "You know the deal, Kevin. $50, suck and fuck." And he's like, "Brad, come on, get in here. He's gonna take good care of you." And yeah, it was just 2 days of that. Went to like all the sex shows, like at Casa Rosa, and yeah. And then I remember like him taking us to like some sex shop or whatever, and then he's like, "We can get like any drug we want here," and we were like, "No way." And he goes, "Watch this." And then he went up to the lady at the register, and she was like, "What can I help you with?" And he was like, "So my friends are in town. They're visiting me for a couple days. I want to get them super fucked up. I want them to be extremely horny. I want them to fuck for hours. I want them to be like very happy, go lucky, like having a good time." And the lady, I'm looking at him like, "Kevin, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And then the lady just, without even batting an eye, just goes, "Oh yeah, no problem." Like reaches like down to like the little glass case, takes out like the tiniest cap, and like pours like a tiny blue liquid into it, and she gives it to us, and she goes, "Here, take this, you'll be fine. This is exactly what you need." And we go, "What is that?" She goes, "Liquid ecstasy." And we were like, Jesus fucking Christ. And just like, yeah, had the time of our lives, like that whole
sick. Oh yeah,
that whole time. Yeah.
That rules.
And then we went back 3 years later, and I was like, God, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. It is really funny because when you go and you're like 20, because Amsterdam is really cool, but like going back, I went back about a year ago now. I went back a year ago.
Yeah.
Because I was traveling out there and I was going to Berlin, and I went back a year ago, and now being there now in my 30s, seeing like the drug and that like tourism and stuff, it like really fucking lame. Like you're there because like when you're like a 20-year-old, you're like, oh, this is the coolest fucking thing in the world. I get like, especially too, because drugs at that point here in America, it was illegal everywhere. So like there's no, like pot was illegal everywhere. And so like going to a place was like, oh, I can just like do drugs here and stuff was like the coolest thing. But now it's like going there and stuff, it's like, it's beautiful. They have the best museums. It's like just like a gorgeous place. And then you just see all these like stoned 20-year-olds and go, oh, fuck these people. Yeah. So you totally like flip. But that's what I do. I fucking love Berlin. Berlin's the best. But like the rave world, man, it's like, it's incredible. Yeah, you're telling me you couldn't get into the rave.
Well, the problem was that we got denied from every club in Berlin, and but I don't really radiate. Wait, I don't radiate like that, like kink.
Yeah.
Like, you're a wild.
I'm a weirdo.
Guy, you know what I mean? Like. You know what I mean? Like, your last name's fucking Hamburger. If I just look at your fucking ID, I go, oh, your last name's Hamburger? Get in here. You know what I mean? You go right to the black room and go start fucking. You know, they look at me and they're like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? Like, go back to fucking Barnes & Noble, pal. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like I don't know. I think that if you're going to do Berlin, you got to do it at the beginning of the trip. If like you're gonna do like a Europe run,
oh dude, it was so fun at the end. I did it right at the end.
Well, you know what it is? I say at the beginning because at the beginning you have so much. You have all your money. You haven't like all the energy and like optimism and like you're anxious about just getting out there. You just want to like have a good time. By the end of our 10 or 14,
you're exhausted.
Whatever. We're exhausted. I'm broke. I maxed out my credit card in Greece. You know what I mean? By the time I got to Berlin, it was like it's cash only. I don't have any cash. Most places over there are cash only.
Yeah.
Have any cash. And then it was like, to get into these clubs, people were like, oh, you got to buy like leather, you got to buy like, you know, kink stuff. And like, that's not cheap.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm not spending money. I have like black shorts and a black shirt. I'm like, let me go try and just be as casual as I could possibly be to get in line. And it's like, yeah, it didn't work out. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just a guy with my other guy friends going into a sex club. They're like, I get it. They're trying to keep like a certain
they're trying
ratio.
to keep it there. I think the thing I like so much about Berlin, because like this thing for me too is like, I also like, I think one thing I think is that there's the one slight difference I think with me and like, well, like just one thing I've noticed, and maybe this is like a little difference in like our styles of like hanging and stuff. It's like I can go sit at a bar with like a pack of, like, especially like Berlin, we can smoke inside. I can sit in there with like some rollies and a beer and be entertained by myself for like 3 hours. Like I could just sit there and I could just roll cigs and just drink a beer and sit with my brain for 3 hours and enjoy the fuck out of that. And Berlin's got so many good spots. Like I was like this one, it's like they played the best fucking music and they had like a projector screen on and there's like nobody in there. And I was able to just sit there, like just drink beer and smoke cigs for like 3 hours. And it was just like, it was like fucking heaven. It was like perfect.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's like, that's like the world. Like in another life, I'm like, in the smallest town in Minnesota, sitting at the local bar from like sun up to sundown and just hanging. And it was just like, it was so fucking, it's just so nice. And Berlin has like just so many great spots like that. Where it's just like a great spot to just go, hang, talk. You know, because like I'm not a big club person. Like I don't like clubs. I don't like bottle service club things. Like I don't like that. But like a fucking walking into like a room where like a happening's happening, like where something is kind of crazy to see or something like that. That's like everything I want. Or like just like walking around a city and just taking it in, or sitting on a bench for like a couple hours. Is like, that's like for me, like traveling is like absolutely great. Like, and so that's why I like Berlin is just like, there's just so many pockets. There's so many like different like little spaces to go check out and like just different little scenes to pop in. And then there's stand-up scenes, like fucking incredible.
Do you remember like any like dive bar like names in Berlin?
I wish I could remember that. The one, so I did that Cosmic Comedy Berlin, and there was a bar right up the street from it. It was like it was like the best bar I went to in there the entire time. It was just like they were playing. They had like a streaming loop of like just insane projected videos, and they would just like loop this like reel of just like different things. There's nobody in there, and then they just were playing like all of my favorite music. It was so sick. It was great. But yeah, that was sweet. Wildest place I've ever been to for like travel and stuff is like I went to China a while back, and that was pretty sweet. But like China was like partying like real hard, and
you can party real hard in China.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh, you can party real hard in China. yeah, they party like insane.
They look at you like a fucking wild animal.
Yeah, dude. My favorite is on New Year's Eve in China. I went. I was just walking, and like these kids were playing basketball, and I was like, "Oh, I love basketball. I'll hop in." So I just hopped on these kids' pickup game, and not to be like fucking, but like I'm a tall guy, and these were just Chinese kids, and so I like hop in, and I'm like fucking playing with them. I'm like Yao Ming.
Yeah,
I'm just swatting balls away and stuff, and I can't shoot for shit, but I was just a massive being, so I was just like just blocking everything. It was so fun, but they just looked at like in like Shanghai, they just looked at me like I was like just some fucking like psych. And I was also like walking around at that time. I was wearing like I'd wear like a suit everywhere, and like just
you were playing them in a suit.
Yeah, I think I was wearing a suit while I played pick up basketball with these guys, and but yeah, I remember one night I was in like Shenzhen, China, and
where was it?
Shenzhen, China. So it's like a city south. It's like right across from Hong Kong.
Yeah,
it's like just like a massive city.
Shenzhen,
yeah, SHENZEN.
Okay.
I think. But they had like they had some funny spots because they had like some like I remember walking into Shenzhen and there was like a street where it was like a full city, but all the buildings were uninhabited. So you just like walk down the street and it was just like there was just like a line of buildings. They were all just empty because they built them and no one bought the real estate. No one moved in and stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. Dude, it was a nuts trip. But anyway, in Shenzhen one time we were out with a group, and then I had to take the train back by myself, and I was like on the train back, and I fell asleep on the train, and I woke up, at the end of the line, and I was like, I gotta go back this way, and they're like, oh, the train's done. So and they shoo me out.
Like your Chinese accent. Train's not working.
It's not working.
Go back.
Yeah, this is the hands.
Go back. I like how you're trying to prevent yourself from doing a Chinese accent. Like, train's not working.
Can't do the accent. And they like they shuffle me onto the street, and I'm like, I am standing on the street, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea where I am or how to get back. And there's a guy, I started walking a couple blocks, and then there's just a dude sitting on his motorcycle having a cigarette, and I just went like I showed him my phone, I just showed him an address, I was like, here, and he just tells me to hop on. So I hop on the back of this guy's motorcycle, and he drives me, and I go on like a full motorcycle ride through downtown Shenzhen, and it's like just fucking the coolest. I've never really been on a motorcycle before, so I'm just straddling this guy, and he's just speeding through this like city, and I'm just taking it all in, and he fucking drops me off at the hotel, and like we pound it, and he like zakes off, and I'm like back at the hotel, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy, and I realized like, yeah, when you drink and do drugs, nothing bad ever happens.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story. That is true. Every time I've blacked out, people are like, "You could have got your kidney stolen." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm a cool guy.
Come on, dude. The worst thing I've ever done when I got blacked out was I fucking gave my phone to a homeless man. That was it. Just gave it to him.
That's great.
I'm pretty sure he asked for it. He's like, "Can I have that?" I was like, "Sure."
Hell yeah.
Need it. And the only reason I found out that I gave it to a homeless man was because he called my mom. He called my mom because my mom like was calling me, she'd blow me up all night. She was like, "Where the fuck are you?" I guess, and I guess he like just clicked her name and then just click call, and then my mom answers like, "Bran," and he was like, "What's the passcode?" This kid with the glasses gave me a moment, no passcode. I was like, "Who the hell are you? Where's my son?" And he goes, "He's sleeping on the side of the road. He gave me the phone. I need the passcode." And she was like, "What the fuck?" Hung up the phone, and then basically ended up calling my buddies, and we were all passed out like on the side of the road, and my mom had to pick us all up, and then the next morning we woke up, and I had no phone, my buddy had no shirt, my buddy had no wallet, so they gave him a wallet and a shirt. We basically like gave this guy a new life, we think.
Yeah.
And then the next day later I had to move to LA. I was moving to LA for the first time.
Hilarious.
And
with no phone.
Well, my mom was like, "You're gonna have to buy yourself a phone." It was the first phone I ever bought by myself, right out of college, and I paid like $1,000 for like an iPhone.
Nice.
And I only had $3,000 to my name, so I was going down to LA with $2,000.
I love to think this guy still got this phone. Let's start.
Yeah. So I like to think this guy became like Jeff Bezos or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's sick.
It is funny when like you meet people that like you're never gonna see again, but like you have like the most memorable moments with them. Like
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the fucking
like that guy on the motorcycle. Like you'll never forget that guy. You'll never see him again, but
I never saw his face.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was just wearing a bike helmet.
Yeah, the bike helmet. I mean, he was smoking a cigarette. I guess I saw his face, but then he threw a helmet on, and then it was just like never. Yeah, but that was, I just remember his black helmet.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was tight. But
yeah.
I mean, I think that's like one. That's why travel is so fucking great. Is so because like everything we do in our life is like so transitory. Like, and it's just like either like the only thing we get is okay if our life like if in that like idea that like everything's infinite and everything is happening constantly and it's happening like in like just repetition, like so like every moment we've ever lived is just happening in infinity. Yeah. It's just happening forever. There's that, or like everything we ever experience is just it happens and then it just disappears into like the ether and it never like it goes away. And like we have all these experiences throughout our life, like, and we try to like make them last forever. Like, so it's like we get into like a certain thing and a time and an era in our life and we hope that era lasts forever. We get in a relationship. We hope this relationship lasts forever. We hope this friendship lasts forever. And I think traveling is so fucking important that like part of your life because it reminds you that like some things are just really temporary. Some moments are really temporary and like time, like when you get done with like a point in your life or like a trip or like a situation, it's like when it's over, you realize like, oh yeah, time, like I just had all this time pass and I don't get to have any of that ever again. It just exists kind of in my memory.
Yeah.
And that's why like those travel is like almost like experiencing nostalgia. Like it's like experiencing nostalgia while it's happening. Cause you know, in those moments, especially like really good moments of like the situations, it's like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to remember this forever. Like you can feel it while it's happening. You can feel it in the lighting. You can feel it in seeing something new. It's just like, I'm never going to forget this. And those moments, they're just like, they're gone. They never happen. Like my friends, those good dudes I hung out with in London the whole time. Like, I see they're like, a post maybe here or there on Instagram, but like that was like they were a really good friendship but it's gone. It's just like there were so many people I met that's just gone. But I don't think that isn't a bad thing. I don't look at that. I'm like, oh, it's so sad I don't get to see them anymore. It's like, no, that's like the beauty of life. It's just like you have these like very big moments, and I think that's why you got to kind of live for that. Is like you have these very strong, emotional, impactful moments, and then they're gone, and that's like in the way of experiencing like these mini deaths until we die.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, it's the best shit in the world.
Yeah, I agree with that, and oddly enough, I think doing comedy is like a interesting and probably like the easiest way you're going to. It gives you more of a chance to meet those people that you've met throughout your life in random circumstances.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, I'll give you a cool story. This actually happened on Saturday night. I was doing a spot at New York Comedy Club, Stanford, and the spot went good. It was fun, great crowd. It was like 300 people, and then after the show, this guy was waiting for me at the door of like the kitchen, which blocks off like the showroom from like the green room. And I walk out, and this kid's waiting for me, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey man, great show." And I go, "Thank you, man." And he goes, "Crazy question for you." And I go, "What's up?" And he goes, "Were you on a Carnival cruise ship in 2008? And I go, "Yeah, I was." And Joey, I shit you not, this kid looks at me and he goes, "Dude, not sure if you're gonna remember. I know it's weird." He goes, "My name's Corey Dybus." And I go, "Stop right there. Bring it in." We were best friends on that fucking cruise ship. And he goes, "Dude, how have you been?" I go, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I live in Stanford, and my buddy's girlfriend just bought us tickets to this show tonight. They called your name up. As soon as they said Brandon Barrera," I go, "Hold on, somebody look this guy up on Facebook right now." I look you up, and of course I'm friends with you. He goes, "No fucking way." He goes, "Dude, what have you been up to?" I go, "This has been my whole life." And like I'm showing him, I have pictures of us like as kids on my Facebook.
Wild,
I got a Facebook to keep in touch with friends from that cruise ship. I was like 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah.
And like one of my first pictures ever on Facebook is me and this kid just in the fucking cruise, just like arm in arm, just like hanging out.
So funny.
It was wild, dude.
That's
and I was like,
yeah.
it was like, I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot of moments that happen in our lives where like, oh, wait, James, let's stop recording. Oh, we're good? There's a lot of like moments in our lives where like, we gotta that like remind us like why traveling is really cool and like why like we should continue doing it. And I think like little moments like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
it's
like, and comedy like reinforces that idea for me. Like especially after that, I was like, oh, like this is
driving for comedy is the best.
Yeah, this is like, oh, this is why like I'm doing this not only to just like take it as far as it's gonna let me go, but like I'm doing it also just to like keep connecting with people and like for little moments like that you just never know are gonna.
Yeah, and this is like side point, like this might be like a last thing, but like I just like in just to relate a tiny bit, I said like what I was just talking about earlier of like how everything is like very transitory and it only kind of happens and then it just like disappears and stuff in the past. I think the funny thing is the fact that we're recording this and this will be clipped and stuff like that. One thing I do really like, and maybe this is just something I do like about life, that like things are momentary and they disappear off into the ether and like you have these moments and then it's gone, is at the risk of like how we clip and we put these things out as clips. One thing I love about stand-up, and I think I love about being kind of a crazy stand-up, and I love doing crazy stand-up, and I love doing like stand-up where it's like, there'll be a night where I'm like, I'm going to do this weird fucking thing, is like not like building an act, but like these performance as like a momentary thing. This is why I think I loved theater so much. It's like a performance is a momentary thing that can never be experienced ever again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, because like like I continue too. Like I love life. Like I love living and I love all these moments in life. And like, just these momentary things that you just get to have these massive experiences and they never get to be experienced again. So I think about like the set where I'm like an alien. I did a set where I'm like an alien who is doing stand up, and his wife just left him, and he's got green goop coming out of his ass. I'm never gonna do that as a set ever again, but it's just like a momentary thing. Yeah. Or like these special nights where you do like something like fucking really crazy. It's just like a momentary thing that you just get to know, and you go like, oh yeah, that was a great night, and that was a great night to be there. And I think sometimes when we get into the clip. God, now I'm going to the fucking, but like in the clip world and stuff, we think so much about the recorded element of like the thing, but like, and I think it takes us away from like the most important part of living is fucking fantastic memories and fantastic nights that exist inside our brain. Yeah. And it's the best. It's just like a moment, like a night that you just cannot ever forget. And that's where the travel is too. Is they're impossible to forget because they're embedded into a location that you've never seen before and you may never go back to.
Do you have like a moment, and we'll get out of here on this, do you have like a moment like that in your traveling history that often like comes to your brain like throughout? Like for me, like there's sometimes throughout the week where I'll think of like a moment where I'm just like where I was, like I think about Prague a lot. I'm going to Prague and like just being with my buddies, going to like this bar called Zorkovna, and like it was like this bar where like you pretty much like put money on like a card when you get in there, and then like that's your bank for the whole night, and like people are just chanting in there the whole night. It's just like a little like dive bar like underground, and like just being with like all my buddies, and then like looking at like different versions of like my buddies and like other friend groups, and just like doing chants together and like just hanging out. And like there were like 2 Irish wolfhounds walking around the bar while we're all just like dancing, hanging. Like little moments like that like remind me or come back to me, and I'm like, I wish I could go back to that. Are there like moments like that?
I mean, I could go back to. I wish I could go back to every single moment. But the thing I thought was like if you ever think about like the past and like travel or things like that. Do you ever like sit on like if you're on like a computer and you open up like a photo album, like just like the photo album, like the photo app on your Apple computer, and you click a photo, and if you hold down the right button on it, and it speeds through all your photos. You ever done that before?
No.
It's really fun to do. So you go to your photos, you throw down the photos, and you open up the app, and you just hold the right arrow, and it speeds through all your photos. So like whenever I think about like my life experiences in travel and like in living different places and stuff like that, it all comes back to me because I love doing this. Most of my memory comes back in like a speed through of all these moments and stuff. And like I think about like every like rooftop I ever stood on, every sunset walk, every hanging out on the bench on the side of the river, like the fucking being on the rocks of Lyon, being like just like being like the sunsets in China, like being, or like I remember this like sunset in Thailand, like on a boat when that was going down, and just every single like Berlin, being at the rave. I was with my buddy Emma there too, like being like leaving at like 5 a.m. because it looked like sun's coming up, and I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like sitting I remember having cigarettes with my buddy Mike because we couldn't catch a train. We're just sitting smoking Marbreds like outside like a train depot waiting to like get on the next one, and just like all of them just like fly through together, like just like clip 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 clip, and it's like, oh yeah, I wish I could exist in that speed through of that existence forever.
Dude, hell yeah, dude, I agree with that. I gotta check that out. I gotta check out that little photo app feature.
Well, it's not a feature. It's just called click. It's called click and write.
You're just like, there's a glitch in the system that Apple hasn't fixed yet. But until then,
have you ever clicked right in a photo album? It's like a stop motion.
Yeah, dude. Well, Joey Hamburger, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Love you
too.
To
see you.
Good to see you.
Anything you want to plug?
No.
Cool, man. Well, no, you have a show. You have a monthly show with Tommy Bear.
Oh, yeah. If you're listening to this, come to we do a show at this place called Highside Workshop. Very cool. And we're doing it. It's called Highside Comedy. And we're going to do it monthly. Cool. It'll probably be like sporadic and stuff, but it'll be sweet. Otherwise, actually, I don't know when this will come out, but I'm really stoked.
February.
I'm opening for February. Well, in April, I'm opening for Chad Daniels at the Bell House. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah.
Come to the Bell House. That'll be a big one.
Dude, thanks for coming on. You guys can follow Joey at Joey Hamburger on Instagram. You literally can't miss him. He's
I have the best SEO.
yeah, his last name really is Hamburger, so you know what I mean. You can't miss him. Guys, thanks for listening, and see you next time.